What's going on, Niner Nation? Sorry about the lack of a show last week. Actually, I'm not really sorry because we were able to provide you with a great road life segment, a road documentary with the men's soccer team down there in Clemson. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Pause Panning for Gold right now. If you're watching on YouTube, go to my left, your right side of the screen. There's a column of videos. The soccer documentary should be about right in this area here. Click it and watch. We'll wait for you. It's about 12 minutes long, so we'll wait for you here on PFG. If you have seen it, cheers. Good job. Thank you. It was a lot of fun traveling down to South Carolina with the boys. But PFG is back, and we got a lot to get to this week, including a batch of new headlines where we talk basketball fan day, basketball madness, a headline about football. We sit down a Friend of 49ers segment with a women's soccer forward, Macky Wingo. And, of course, a one-on-one interview, a Meet the Coaches segment with the football assistant coaches. Matt Swierad sat down with them earlier this week and chatted it up with them. All of that and much, much more, including your weekend weather update with Garrett B, our very own in-house PFG meteorologist. PFG, that's Panning for Gold, starts right now. Before we start the beat, we got a sneak peek. That rhymed unintentionally. It's just what we do here on Panning for Gold. This week on the beat, we talk football tailgates down at Panthers Stadium. We also talk about basketball madness, basketball fan day, Charlotte49ers.tv, and Twitter, and a bunch of other different things. We got a lot to cram in, so the beat starts right now. What's this you're telling me? You guys are on Twitter? Well, so are we. The show has its very own Twitter handle, at PanningForGold3, number 3 representing the third season of the show. Give us a follow. We tweet out a bunch of fun stuff about sports, pop culture, things like that. And also give the Charlotte 49ers a follow on Twitter, at Charlotte 49ers. They've recently eclipsed 2,500 followers. Congratulations and big ups to them. But be sure to follow them as well on Twitter. Basketball season is rapidly approaching, which means the annual kickoff event is soon upon us. That's Basketball Madness. It's just around the corner. Madness this year will be on October 20th. That's a Thursday night. Kicks off at 9 p.m. inside Halton Arena. It's a big night, a fun night. The dunk contest, the skills competition, player intros, and listen closely, Norm the Niner told me that he's been working out really hard lately, and he plans to show off his new physique at Basketball Madness. How's that for a tease? I've seen him. He's in the weight room. He's doing yoga. He's really going the full 9 yards here, guys. And he plans to show off his new muscles, new physique that he's kind of been building up at Madness. How's that for a tease? You might want to be on hand for that. Also, Basketball Fan Day is just a few days later. That's the third installment of that. It's a great day for the family to come out. October 22nd at 3 p.m. Both the men's and women's basketball teams will scrimmage. They'll have inflatable bouncy castles for the kids and for me. I've especially requested the pink castle because I like jumping up and down in that one. It's got better. Anyway, we move on. I like the bouncy castles, and it's a great opportunity for the kids. They'll also have a free youth clinic with the basketball players. If you have kids, be sure to register online. The deadline is October 19th. You can do that on Charlotte49ers.com. And there'll be locker room tours available for everybody. So you can come in and tour the men's locker room, the women's locker room. It's a big day. Should be lots of fun. Again, it's Saturday, October 22nd. Be there and not square. Moving on in headlines, how about a football stadium update? They were supposed to pour concrete this week to start the foundation of our football stadium. You've all seen the webcam on Charlotte49ers.com. Rain has delayed that a bit, unfortunately. I know, bummer. But we were down at the football stadium earlier this week. Local media came out as well to talk with Brad Lambert. We had a camera there. PFG's just doing its thing. You got it queued up, producers. Let's roll it. Here's down at the football stadium earlier this week. Roll that beautiful non-concrete pouring footage. At least not yet.
Well, it's all's going well, and I think they're on time, and that's the main thing. You know, they got delayed a little bit this week because of all the rain, but they're trying to pour the foundation, the first footers for the building, and hopefully this time next year we'll be in that building. We'll have our practice fields finished, and you know, we'll be practicing, have our first guys here with 49ers and playing. So we'll be practicing and doing that. So all's on time. It's fun for me. We just talked about the groundbreaking a while ago. A lot's been done since then. And it's exciting to bring people on campus, for them to see this stadium, you know, taking shape. They can see the bowl now. They can see where our building's going to be, and they can see where our practice field's going to be over off to this side. So, you know, we're going to have a first-class facility. And it's exciting for me to drive here every day and watch it being built. Well, I think the toughest part is just getting past the unknown factor, you know, just hey, who's going to be that initial group? And you're kind of looking for an entrepreneurial type kid, a risk-taking type kid, and there's a group of those guys out there, and they've been excited when they've come on campus. So that's the guy we're looking for, but that's probably the toughest thing is, okay, who's going to take that risk? Who's going to say, because a lot of them have the opportunity to go to an established program, but you're looking for that guy that wants to, you know, kind of like our staff, you know, who wants to come be a part of building something and laying that foundation. And when they look back in 20 years and we've had a lot of success, and they say, who really was there first and who was that first class? That's the exciting thing.
All right, so there you have it down at the football stadium earlier this week. A lot of fun down there with Coach Lambert and some of the local media. That's going to do it for headlines this week. We move right along into a new segment of PFG. That's the Friend of 49ers segment. 2 weeks ago, TJ Bolio of the men's soccer team sat down and answered your tweets and emails. This week, women's soccer star Macky Wingo. You guys sent in your tweets, you emailed us, you DM'd us, you somehow got in touch with us, and you have some questions for Macky. She took some time out of her schedule to answer those questions, and here it is, the Friend of 49ers segment with Macky Wingo.
Hey Niner Nation, this is Macky Wingo with 49er Women's Soccer, here to answer your questions, tweets, and Facebook messages. Tanya asked, heard you went to the Women's World Cup this past summer. What was it like? Did you see the Brazil game? World Cup was definitely crazy atmosphere. I didn't get to see the Brazil game, but we went to the Nigeria-Canada game and the first U.S. game. I think the coolest atmosphere was definitely the Nigeria game because we got to be like with all the fans for like the Nigerian team, and we played it with the drums and they danced the whole time, so it was a lot of fun. Mr. G emailed in this question. Random question, you are shipwrecked on a tropical island with one teammate of your choosing. Who is it and why? I think that I would have to pick two different people. I'd probably pick one of our freshmen who is actually redshirt, Kaylee, and Katie Davies, just because I think Davies, we could actually, I don't know, if we need anything, she'd be able to get us through something. And then Kaylee just to keep me laughing the whole time. Tommy asked this question, can you describe the feeling you get when you drill a shot into the back of the net? It's probably one of the best feelings. I know that's pretty much my job up top, all of us forwards. You know, it's our job to score, and it's just a successful feeling and excited. Ryan wants to know, I'm a sucker for English accents. They're awesome. Honestly, what are your thoughts about Coach Collins? It takes some getting used to. There are definitely times when I think we all kind of look at each other and we're like, I really don't know what he just said, but we try to like laugh about it and just use context clues and figure them out. Niner Nation, thanks for sending in your tweets and emails. I hope to see you out at Transamerica for our next home game.
Big props to those who tweeted in, DM'd, emailed in your questions for Macky, and thank you, Macky Wingo, for sitting down and chatting with us, answering those tweets. Next week, volleyball senior Leah Leventhal will sit down and answer your tweets, DMs, emails. So ever you want to get a question in to us on the show, we will get it on. And again, Leah Leventhal next week here on Panning for Gold. We move right along to the next segment, which is, well, it's our weekend weather update with our in-house meteorologist, Garrett B. A couple events here at home this weekend. Cross Country is hosting a meet down at McAlpine Park. The softball team has their fall practice, fall kind of World Series, so to speak, fall games down there at the softball complex. Garrett, what is our weekend weather outlook looking like here in the QC?
Thanks, AJ. Yeah, it's going to be pretty nice out here. on the campus of UNC Charlotte and the surrounding communities here. We have softball on Friday and Sunday on their fall scrimmages, and cross country also out there at McAlpine Park doing their thing on Friday. So Friday we'll have temperatures in the upper 70s with a cold front coming through, and that'll give us a slight chance of a few showers, possibly a few claps of thunder, but only a slight chance, about 20%. And on Saturday and Sunday, it feels like the first and second day of October with highs only in the upper 60s with mostly clear skies and only a few clouds out there. So that's a check of your weekend weather update. Go out there and enjoy it. Now back to you, AJ.
Thank you, Garrett, for that weekend weather update. As always, I'm sure it is 100% accurate, and there is no need to go to weather.com, AccuWeather, or any of those other weather sites because Garrett is the man. And if he says it's not going to rain, it is not going to rain. Trust him on that. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Matt Swierad, the voice of the Charlotte 49ers, sat down with the assistant football coaches earlier this week in a segment we like to call Meet the Coaches. And we have one of those coming up around the bend here on Panic for Gold. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Niner fans. Matt Swierad here for Charlotte49ers.tv. Well, recently we had a chance to sit down with all the Niners football coaches, the assistant coaches, a little more personal get-to-know-them situation for us, called the Meet the Coaches series. And right now you can see a little snippet of all 3 interviews we did earlier. But if you want to see all of them in their entirety, just stay tuned to Charlotte49ers.tv. They'll be coming up shortly. What are some of the memories that you have growing up? Was there a player that you liked, that you kind of emulated at, or a coach that was a mentor that really made some impact on your life?
Well, I think it's a combination. I mean, I've always enjoyed sports. I mean, I grew up in a family of very educated, both parents college graduates, and you know, probably football wasn't what my dad would have chosen for me. And my oldest brother's an orthopedic surgeon. My next 2 brothers are lawyers, and my youngest brother was in med school. And so, you know, it's a little bit. I'm a little bit oddball in that group, but I've always enjoyed it. Always knew I wanted to be a coach, and it was in all sports, you know.
What are some of the things you like to do when you're not coaching football? I know you don't have a lot of downtime, but you have a little bit more now. You know, what are some things you like to do away from the game?
I have 3 children. I have a 15-year-old son. I have daughters that are 11 and 10, and they take up all my time. You know, I'm taking my son to some weekend games. We're hitting the Panther game. I got a lot of friends in college, and we get to go see some ball games, which is fun to spend some father and son time together. And it seems like with my daughters, all we're doing is sitting on the couch watching Disney Channel. I know every episode of iCarly right now. So,
Coach Adams started at Wake Forest University. It's a unique story, funny story about how you became a linebacker. You were telling me just a moment ago, as we just really have just met, and it's a great story. Tell us about it, being recruited out of Durham, North Carolina, to go to Wake Forest. They didn't come specifically looking for you, but Coach Mullen was the guy that ended up bringing you to Wake Forest.
Yes, sir. Coach Mullen, Jeff Mullen, recruited me out of high school. Played free safety in high school, and just like every high school player, thought I was going to play on a lot of Sundays and play in the NFL. And they took a chance on me at Wake. And I remember my first day on campus meeting Coach Lambert. Then he was the linebackers coach. I was sold on playing safety for my whole college career. And he looked at me and said, "Yeah, you're going to play linebacker." And, you know, 17, 18 years old, big shock. I'm like, nah, no way I'm going to play linebacker. And sure enough, about a year and a half later, there I am sitting in the linebacker room, learning how to fit power, learning how to fit ISO and underneath coverage and all that.
Some of the players that you've coached, you've got to have a lot of, you know, great feelings about what they've done in life. Is there somebody that stands out that when you first got them, they thought, I'm not sure if this guy's going to make it, but not just made it through the 4 years, but, you know, made it in life?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, you get numerous guys. I think the guy that always stands out in my mind the most, though, was Isaiah Kazavinsky, that coach at Harvard, because, you know, he probably wasn't your typical student that you would expect to go to Harvard. And, you know, he ends up graduating from Harvard with honors. He ends up getting drafted in the 4th round by the Seahawks, ends up being the captain in the Super Bowl game, you know, and just, he was one of those guys that practiced, you know, played like he practiced. He always had energy. And I just love coaching him. I said, if I get everybody to play like him, you know, it would be an easy job.
Coach, as you've watched the game evolve the last few years, has it changed more to the passing game? You're talking about spreading things out, throwing the ball more. It seems like that is a bigger part of the game these days.
yeah, it clearly depends on the quarterback you've got. You know, some guys are throwers, some guys are runners, and what you're seeing in college football now is the growth of kids that can do both very, very well. And in the spread system, I think you need to have the quarterback as a running threat. He becomes your fullback for all intents and purposes for the numerical disadvantage that sometimes spread football gives you. So It is a situation that you're seeing a trend in. Heck, I think you're starting to see it in the NFL a little bit, where they're flipping it around a little bit more. I think every good offense needs to have balance. Certainly there are teams out there that run it really well and don't throw it as good, or throw it real well and don't run it as good. And I think you can win a lot of games doing that, but it's difficult to win championships doing that. And clearly our goal is to win championships.